Like we all know that Lag B'Omer is a day of great Simcha. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai requested that everyone should be b'Simcha on this day. And Chassidim always very careful to be marbe b'Simcha this day. In fact, and possibly there's a hint to this Simcha, the great Simcha of the day, because it's brought down that Lag B'Omer always comes out on the same day of the week as Purim. It's brought down. The simon is Pelik. Purim and Lag B'Omer come out on the same day of the week. So obviously there must be a connection between the two. So Purim stands out in its limitless Simcha. So obviously Lag B'Omer is a day of great Simcha also. Interesting, there's a letter from the Alter Rebbe. It was a very difficult time for Hasidim. They were suffering great from those who opposed Hasidus at that time. And the Alter Rebbe demanded for them that they should be b'Simcha. And he said, and he wrote to them in a letter that they should be b'Simcha, and therefore, when on the upcoming day of Lag B'Omer, they should make it a day of Mishta v'Simcha, which he used as the same expression that the Megillah uses for Purim. He writes, it should be a day of Mishta v'Simcha, but God forbid, not Heilulis Eishikrus. Now, if the Alter Rebbe has to modify it to say, to keep careful from overdoing it, so obviously there was reason to be worried that it could be. So possibly because he wrote that it's a Yom Mishta v'Simcha, utilizing the same expression that's used by Purim, so he's afraid that Chassidim will celebrate Lag B'Omer like Purim, and Purim we know is a limitless Simcha. The concept of Farbrengen on Lag B'Omer was so important that it's related that the great Chassidim of the first generations of Chassidim, they used to Farbreng on Lag B'Omer. They used to wash between Mincha and Ma'ariv, which is like everyone's doing now, which al pi halacha it's not so simple. So there were big rabbonim by the Farbrengen, and they looked into the halacha if they're permitted to wash and have this Farbrengen between Mincha and Ma'ariv. And there's a whole pilpul in halacha at the end why it was permitted. So the conclusion was that it's permitted and they Farbrenged. And that was the custom in all generations, that the Farbrengens of Lag B'Omer took place after Mincha Lag B'Omer, before Ma'ariv.
What about what it says in the Yom today? The mitzvah is already being washed.
What?
There's no mashke here.
Like I said, the story I said was with Chassidim, specifically two of the great Chassidim of the Mittel Rebbe, known as Rabbi Hillel Paritcher and Rabbi Isaac Homler. So there's a long story about their Farbrengen and about the whole discussion halacha. So the question obviously is, what exactly is the reason for this tremendous simcha of Lag B'Omer? So the truth is, simply there are two things that are related to the simcha of Lag B'Omer. The simple one is that we know it's connected to the story of Rabbi Akiva's disciples. that because they didn't act with proper covered one to another, so a plague hit them and they were dying out, and Lag BaOmer, the plague stopped. So this was the first reason for the Simcha of Lag BaOmer. And the second, like I mentioned before, because Reb Shimon Bar Yochai requested that we should be besimcha on this day. What exactly occurred on the day of Lag BaOmer? So it's brought down in the works of the Arizal. This was the day of the Yortzeit of Reb Shimon Bar Yochai. So what is the great Simcha of his Yortzeit? So it's explained because on this day, it's related in the Zohar that on this day, Reb Shimon Bar Yochai came to an understanding of the deepest concepts of Theta, the most hidden concepts of Theta. And he called in his pupils, his disciples, and he revealed these deep secrets to them, and he told them to record it, to write it down. And so the Simcha is because on this day was the day where the greatest secrets of Theta were revealed by Reb Shimon Bar Yochai. So that is the Simcha. So the first obvious thing that what means for us is, what does it mean for us? That when we speak about being happy on Lag BaOmer b'simcha, so the first thing it means is that we have to delve more into the learning of the secrets of Theta, of the Theta of Reb Shimon Bar Yochai. The whole Simcha was due to the fact that Reb Shimon Bar Yochai revealed these secrets of Theta. That is the simple, without going into anything deeper or any other concepts. The simple concept of Lag BaOmer, the Simcha of Rashbi, is that because on this day the deep secrets of Theta were revealed. Just to bring this out a little bit more in detail. The Pasuk says, Mochatzti vani erpa. I made a mechitza, a division, and I will heal this division. So it's in Chassidus explains that this is alluding to the day of Lag BaOmer. In other words, we know the Theta is divided into different categories. There's Pshat, Remez, Drush, and Seid. So Seid means the secrets of Theta. If the Theta calls it a secret, why does the Theta say it's a secret? So obviously because the Theta is meant to be hidden. If we learned the Gemara in Chagiga, so the Gemara in Chagiga discusses at great length about the deep secrets of Theta, how they have to remain hidden, and they have to be very careful how they are taught. So obviously why? So there's a mechitza, there's a division between the secrets of Theta and what has to be revealed. So, and this is what it says concerning Rashbi, Mochatzi vani erpa, that Rashbi, he was able to overcome this mechitza. He took those secrets and he revealed them. So he overcame this mechitza between Seid of Theta and what is revealed. If we're to understand a drop differently, generally every Yid was given the whole Theta. Say this Theta, so a very deep concepts. So how do we relate to them? So generally it's through emunah. We're told that this is what it says in Theta. So we have emunah pshuta in the words that are written in Theta. The Seidus HaTheta, since there's so deep secrets, so they're beyond human comprehension, so they remain hidden from our seichel. So we believe with every word it says there because it's written in the Theta, but it's something which transcends our seichel. When we say it's revealed means that it comes down into comprehension in our seichel. So what Rabbi did was, he took those secrets and was able to bring them down in a way that they can be revealed. In other words, they can be taught and understood with our seichel, with human comprehension. But nevertheless, even after Rabbi revealed them, it wasn't so simple, because generally, when we speak about seichel, there are many levels. We have a nefesh, we have a human soul that has seichel. But, for example, if I tell you there are malachim who understand Hashem, obviously the understanding of malachim is infinitely greater than our understanding. Because a malach doesn't have a physical body, so the mind of a malach, the understanding of a malach is on a total different, it's a different type of seichel. It's a higher level of seichel. I mean, like you even understand simply. There's a way a child learns something, and when a person matures and gets older, so your seichel develops. A child can't understand abstract. A child, everything a child learns, he has to be able to touch and feel and see with their eyes. Abstract thinking, you have to be mature, you have to be growing in your seichel. So that's a difference. It's not just you're smarter, your mind works quicker. It's a higher, more refined type of seichel. When you mature, your seichel becomes a higher level of a different way of thinking. So the same way, we can't compare the seichel of a malach, for example, and the seichel of a human being. The whole way of thinking is different. In Svarim, that's called, malachim are called sichlim nivdolim. Their seichel is nivdolim, it's totally removed from our way of thinking. So that's the difference between a human being and a malach. The truth is, within a yid himself, there's also different levels, because we have a human nefesh, and then we have what's called, what Alter Rebbe explains in Tanya, we have a nefesh holikis, our holy neshama, which is a chelik alakam yimal mamish. It's a spark of Hashem, and it has. So the faculties of our neshama are totally on a different level. So the seichel of our neshama is totally on a different level of way of understanding than the seichel of our human logic. So, in order to understand Kabbalah or Seid, so even after the Rabbi revealed it, who was able to comprehend it? They had to be great tzaddikim, people who were so refined that they were able to tap into the faculties of their neshama. They had to utilize the keach ha-seichel of their nefesh ho'elokis. Human logic, with our regular human nefesh, couldn't comprehend yet those secrets of Theta. It was only in later generations, after the Arizal came, and afterwards the Baal Shem Tov, and then the Baal Tanya, who revealed Chasidus, Chabad, Chochmah, Bina, Das. So this is what the Baal Tanya started. He started bringing down these concepts, drawing them down even lower and lower, that they should be accessible even to the simple Yid who did not yet, wasn't such on a high level in Avedis Hashem to be able to tap into the faculties of his neshama. He was still living with his regular human faculties. The seichel that was operating in his brain was his regular human logic. So even human logic was able to understand these concepts of Seidus HaTeira. So this brought down the Pnimis HaTeira even more into Gilui, into revelation, because it made it accessible to human logic. So the Simcha Lag B'Emer, when we began this process of revealing Seidus HaTeira in a manner that should become accessible to the seichel of Yidden, not only to be accessed with our emunah, faith which transcends seichel, so this carried on in the future generations in the teachings of Hasidus, where these concepts were brought down in a way that every single Yid, even a Yid who is on a simple level in Avedus Hashem, and his seichel is a simple human logic, can also access these concepts and learn them. So l'chaim, so this is the Simcha of Rabbi, that we have to dedicate ourselves more to utilizing our seichel to understand Hasidus and Pnimiyah, the inner secrets of Theta. L'chaim.
Good, how are you?
Pittsburgh.
Huh?
My father was from Pittsburgh. I was in Rabbi Altein's class 58 years ago in Lubavitch, Pittsburgh. Shlomo Altein.
That's my uncle.
My uncle.
My father's younger brother.
58 years ago.
My father was in Pittsburgh in 1942.
Oh, wow. That's when I first started.
He started Lubavitch in Pittsburgh in 1942.
Then Rabbi Posner came.
Yes.
So you lived there.
What?
You lived in Pittsburgh?
I never lived in Pittsburgh. Because my father wasn't married yet. The previous Rebbe sent him when he was a bocher.
That was a big thing.
After he got married, so then Rabbi Posner came.
I was there 1 year.
What?
I was there 1 year as a little kid.
Ay 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 la da 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 ya la da 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 ba ya ba 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 ya la da 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 ya la da da ma ya la da da ya la da da
Rabbi?
What?
Just as Rabbi Akiva's come into after the death of the Bar Yochai.
What?
How many years were there between Rabbi Akiva's students
How many years? I don't know the exact, but Rabbi Shimon Yochai was from the students who survived the plague.
So he was afterwards.
He was in the next generation.
Yeah.
He survived the plague.
The first reason preceded the second reason.
Sure.
They have like Gomer. The first reason, it was a much more, it was a different thing.
Correct.
There were no bonfires, there was no Meron, no... Yeah. No, Rav Shimon Bar Yochai was alive.
The whole Miron, and I'm saying the whole Simcha of Rav Shimon Bar Yochai is not mentioned in Nigel of Theta. It's mentioned only in Kabbalah. In Nigel of Theta, it's only mentioned the story of Rabbi Akiva's pupils.
But also, mostly have Shimon Bar Yochai coming out of the cave, right? When he went into the cave, he hid in the cave.
Yeah, but that's not Lag Baimer.
He was still alive at the time.
Yeah.
The whole thing that Lag Baimer is the day of the yortzeit of Rav Shimon Bar Yochai is only written in Kabbalah. And the Rizal is the one who writes it. Interesting enough, Al Pi Kabbalah, the Rizal writes that one shouldn't take a haircut even on Lag Baimer. Chaim. Was? Sing, was du willst. Ich meine,
Weg.
ich kann singen.
Still have music now.
Huh?
Still have music now.
Yeah, you want to see my face?
Sure.
You better see your harmonica.
No.
Bye.
So in short, Lag B'Omer, there are two main themes to Lag B'Omer. The first theme is the theme of Ahavas Yisrael. That's the theme that we learned from the story of the disciples of Rabbi Akiva. Their death was connected because they were lacking in Ahavas Yisrael. So the first theme of Lag B'Omer is strengthening our Ahavas Yisrael. And the second theme is the theme of Simcha, which Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai requested that we should be b'Simcha on this day. So I want to discuss a little bit these two concepts, the way they explained in Chassidus. First, let's take the concept of Ahavas Yisrael. Just begin by saying that in the Zohar calls the halachas of Theta the guf of Theta, the body of Theta. And the secrets of Theta, the Zohar calls it the neshama of Theta. Just like a human being has a guf, has a body, the organs of his body, and a person has a neshama. The same way the Theta, the halachas of Theta, the practical halachas that we have to fulfill our physical, and the majority physical acts. So that's the guf of Theta. In Pnimius HaTheta discusses the neshama of the mitzvahs. What is the deeper meaning in them? What is the spiritual meaning of these mitzvahs? So in Ahavas Yisrael, let's begin with Ahavas Yisrael. Ahavas Yisrael, there's the simple practical way how we have to fulfill the mitzvah of Ahavas Yisrael, acting with kindness to another Yid, or like the Gemara tells us how Hillel HaZoken phrased it, that things that you don't want to be done to you, don't do to another person. The Gemara says that there are three simonim, three ways to identify a Yid. Yidden are rachmonim, baishonim, v'geim lichasodim. Yidden have pity, and they have baishonim means they have bashful, yeah, and they do chesed. So it's interesting, when we learn Tanya, right away in the first chapter of Tanya, so the Baal Tanya says as follows, that these midas tevis that are ingrained in a Yid are not from his neshama, his nefesh or elikis. They are from his natural neshama, what the Alter Rebbe calls nefesh habamis, the animal soul, or the Alter Rebbe calls it also the nefesh hativis, the natural, the nature of it, the physical nature, the instincts of the guf come from this nefesh. So the Alter Rebbe says these midas tevis that are ingrained in a yid, they come from the nefesh habamis, because even though this nefesh habamis is not from kedusha, it's from what the Kabbalah calls klipa, which is the opposite of kedusha. But Alter Rebbe says, but it comes from such a klipa, which is a mixture of teva ra. Like you find the Eitz Hadas is called teva ra. It was a mixture of good and bad. So the midas tevis that are ingrained in a yid are ingrained in the nefesh habamis of a yid, because the nefesh habamis of a yid comes from that klipa, which is a mixture of teva ra. So from the tev of the klipa comes these midas tevis. So if we step back and think, so what is the Alter Rebbe saying here? So this natural instinct of a yid to do chesed, it comes even from his nefesh habamis. Now this nefesh habamis, this is what drives a yid to all kinds of physical pleasures. What drives a person to indulge in physical pleasures? This comes from the nefesh habamis. So this same nefesh habamis, which drives a person to indulge in physical pleasure, it's all about enjoying your guf, your body, bodily pleasures. This very same soul contributes to a yid these midas tevis of chesed and rachmanis. So what's the conclusion from such a statement? It's a very simple conclusion, that we love to hear stories. Mi kamchi Yisrael, such beautiful stories how you'd go out of their way to do chesed. So the Alter Rebbe's approach is Mi kamchi Yisrael, that even the nefesh habamis wants to do chesed. Even a Jew who indulges themselves in physical pleasures. It can be a Jew whose nefesh habamis is the dominant nefesh, and the person is a person who spends their life indulging themselves in physical pleasures. Their whole goal in life is maybe to make more money, have a more beautiful house, beautiful possessions, or indulge in a lot of physical taivas, pleasures. Nevertheless, even this yid is driven to do chesed. But that's not the Avos Yisrael, which is the mitzvah, the true mitzvah of Avos Yisrael. What is the true mitzvah of Avos Yisrael? So the Alter Rebbe explains it at length in Sefer HaTanya. The pasuk says, "V'yahavta l'reacho kamecha." You should love someone else as yourself. Which all the Mefarshim ask, this is seemingly an impossibility. How can I love someone else like I love myself? It's an impossibility. Every person feels himself first. How can I love someone else like I love myself? So the Alter Rebbe makes a simple statement. The Alter Rebbe says, what divides one person from another? Where does the I come from? The feeling of me, the I. That comes from your guf and your nefesh habamis. All the neshamas of Yidden are united like one entity. They're like one. There are no divisions between neshamas, the Alter Rebbe says, because they're all enrooted in the Eibishter, and the Eibishter is Hashem Echad. So just like the Eibishter is Hashem Echad, so all the neshamas, in their root source, they are one. And therefore, if a yid taps into your neshama, a yid who taps into his neshama, so then when you look at another yid, so the neshama doesn't connect to the other person's guf, the neshama connects straight with other yid's neshama. So it's a neshama connection. And we're like one entity. So then the ava can be a limitless ava, kamecha. So in short, this is Avos Yisrael the neshama of Avos Yisrael. The neshama of Avos Yisrael is true Achdus Yisrael. What does it mean, true Achdus Yisrael, Jewish unity? It's not just waving a flag. True Achdus Yisrael means that Yidna are really one. Now, this concept that Yidna are really one is truly alluded to in the Yerushalmi. The Yerushalmi says as follows. The pasuk says, we're forbidden to have a feeling of hatred to another Yid. So how are we to understand that? So the Yerushalmi says as follows. Let's take, for example, a person's holding a knife in his right hand, and by mistake, he cuts his left hand with his right hand. So Yerushalmi says, can the left hand, say the left hand will have hatred to the right hand? How did you cut me? Doesn't make sense. Why not? Because who's the eye of the right hand? Who's the eye of the left hand? There are no two eyes here. It's the same eye. So you can be angry at yourself for being so stupid and hurting yourself. But it's not that the left hand is angry at the right hand, because it's the same eye. So this is the same concept that's in the negative. But the same is true in the positive about Avos Yisrael. That true Avos Yisrael comes when a Yid, there's no two eyes here. It's not me and you. We're united with Mamish one, Echod, because all neshamas. But the condition for that is that we have to tap into our neshama. So how do we tap into our neshama? So this is what the Zayas says, that Theta, when we learn Theta reveals our neshama. But in Theta itself, when we learn the guf of Theta, so the guf of Theta connects the guf of a Yid to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But when we learn the neshama of Theta, so through learning the neshama of Theta, that taps into the neshama that's within us. So how do we access our neshama? We access our neshama by delving into Pnimius HaTheta, the neshama of Theta. When a person delves into the Pnimius of Theta, so then he starts recognizing his neshama, and everything is about a neshama. So when you walk in the street and you see a Yid, no matter what his externals look like, and the level of his keeping Theta mitzvahs, but he's a Yid. He has a neshama. So me and him are one. So it's a whole different approach. That is the Avos Yisrael. That is the neshama of Avos Yisrael, the way it's explained in Sefer HaTanya. It's not just about doing chesed. Like I said before, doing chesed can be even someone. It can be a person, like I said before, that's the Mikam Yisrael of our Nefesh Habamis, just being involved in projects of chesed. Can be very involved in all types of projects of chesed, and be a nefesh habamis person, a person who's dominated from his nefesh habamis. But in order to have true Avos Yisrael, that the Theta demands from us, for this we need our neshama. We have to bring out our neshama. The neshama shenosata be teherohi. Only when this neshama, we tap into this neshama, it becomes a neshama experience. A neshama experience. So in short, like we say in Yiddish, to have true Avos Yisrael, mekenish sein ken grobe jung and have true Avos. It can't be we call a grobe jung in Yiddish. I can't say the exact translation.
Yeah, I have a question.
Sure.
You're talking about. I have a question about Yom Kippur, what you're trying to do. When we're given a year of life after we're being judged, what's being judged? Because if we are all the same, then we shouldn't be being judged as. We're judged for our actions.
Yeah, 100%.
Different people have different actions, and it seems to me why we can't deny those actions happened. I would think that we have a right to hate someone who has acted badly towards us. And you're saying that oh, it's the right hand and the left hand. But then why does God judge us then?
Of course, we're judged for our actions. In other words,
So if God
this
judges
neshama
us-
has to.
So if God judges us for our actions,
But
then certainly
because
we
God
could-
wants that our neshama shouldn't remain something which is removed from our day-to-day life. It has to express itself in our actions. In other
Right.
words, of course, it has to express itself in
So
our
in the
actions.
same way that we can have feelings towards someone because of their actions, just the way God judges us for our actions, you can't say that our actions are not important.
I never said that.
Yeah, but
Chas
you seem to be
v'shalom.
saying-
I didn't say our actions are not important. I
But it seems to
said,
be- you seem
I
to be
said that
saying-
Avos Yisrael means that
I understand, but you seem to me that everybody should love each other and their actions really don't matter.
it doesn't. It shouldn't detract from your Ava. Let's
Well, then why does
let's
God,
let's
then why does God
let's
judge us-
rephrase it like as
so why
follows.
does God judge us for our actions? If you're saying it shouldn't detract, that He's doing that. God's doing that. When He judges us, based upon our actions.
God judges us also. Not only He judges us what's doing inside of us also. Believe it or not.
Right.
Let me rephrase it this way. It's just like when you look at yourself. Self-love. So, person looks at themselves. So the pasuk says, "Al kol pishoim tachase ahava." On all pishoim, ahava conceals it. One doesn't see your own. You don't see your own faults because you love yourself so much. So you don't see your own faults.
I would say just the opposite. You see your faults more than anyone else sees it.
But you know your faults, but you don't always. Of course, a person can know their own faults more than, but nevertheless, the nature of a person is that a person doesn't want to.
That's what's guilt.
You know,
A
a person can say, "I'm stupid,"
Psychologists
but when the other
always
guy
say-
tells you you're stupid, all of a sudden you get angry. Why?
Psychologists always
You know,
say-
if you
people
to yourself,
always say-
you don't mind saying I'm stupid, but
Everybody
if the other guy
feels
tells you I'm stupid, you're
But people
stupid, then
feel
all of a sudden
guilty
you.
about things. Why do we have a sense of guilt? Because we feel that we're wrong a lot of times.
But
Yeah, but we make excuses for ourselves.
Yeah, but sometimes we don't.
No, we do. We make excuses for ourselves. That's the.
Usually our worst judgment is against ourselves. Psychologists tell us all the time. Okay, I guess that's a lot.
no, I'm saying there are people who are like you, but a lot of people are not like what you're saying. Sorry to say, there are a lot of people who, when it comes to themselves, you don't see the negative in yourself. Because I'll call Peshoim Techasa Ava. It's a posik. And all Peshoim Ava conceals all your Peshoim. So, if you really had Ava to another Yid, so even if the person has some Peshoim, the Ava would overlook it. And this is also the reason why does Hashem ultimately forgive us on our faults? Because Ahafti Eschem Oma Hashem, because the Eibush has this limitless love for Am Yisrael. So even if they have faults, His Ava overlooks it and He forgives us. So we can be like that to another Yid. The Eibush judges us, but on the other hand, He also overlooks our fault. He forgives us. We ask for Mechila and Slicha on Yom Kippur, right? We ask the Eibush, we don't say, God, judge me and give me what I'm deserving. We ask the Eibush to please forgive me if I didn't do it 100%. Why do we ask the Eibush to forgive us? Because we know, because the Eibush has this Ava, so we're saying the Eibush to overlook the Pshoim. The Ava should overlook the Pshoim. So if this is the way we relate to ourselves and we ask the Eibush to relate to us, so this is the way we have to relate to another Yid. But again, this is all based on one point. The point is that this is all based if we tap into our neshama. We have to become a neshama yid. We can't be just a yid whose whole life evolves around our physical pleasures and indulging ourselves in our own enjoyment.
How do you explain the Nefesh HaBahami as the ones to do chesed? According to the Seichel, the Nefesh HaBahami is one's pleasure for himself, not to give others.
Like I said before, because the Nefesh HaBamis there, it comes from a source that is a mixture of Teva and Rav. So the evil that's in the Nefesh HaBamis is all about yourself, self, me, I, without a limit. But the Teva of the Nefesh HaBamis expresses itself in a certain midas Tevas. It's not limitless. I just want to, one more point. There's also another point to it, that even this Tev of the Nefesh, the midas Tevas of Nefesh HaBamis, are not the same as the midas Tevas of a holy neshama, because a person can be driven to do chesed because the person wants looking for covet, etc. So it's all around the ego. So there can be midas Tevas, which also, even though they're midas Tevas, because in practicality you're doing good things, but the motivation coming from your own ego. So the midas Tevas and Nefesh HaBamis, a person who's dominated by his Nefesh HaBamis, so even the midas Tevas is not the same as the midas Tevas of your Neshama Kadesha.
I saw that Lag BaOmer is always the 18th of Iyar, which is also the first day that the month started. What's the connection? Can you explain the connection?
Between the Mon and Lag BaOmer?
Yeah, it's the first day that the month started. You can prove it in the Psukim.
I mean, I don't remember seeing it, so I can just speculate.
I saw it in the Me'am Lois.
I can speculate. In Chassidus it says as follows: bread, Teir is called bread. Lechem is bread is called Teir. L'chu lachmu b'lachmi. The pasuk compares Teir to bread.
Yeah.
So there's two types of bread: lechem min ha'oretz, lechem which comes from the earth. Which, how does it come? Person has to work hard, has to plow and plant, and then cultivate the earth, and then cut the wheat, and then grind it into flour until he makes bread out of it. And then there was lechem min hashamayim. The bread that came, the mon was lechem min hashamayim. So Theta is also called bread. So there are two types of learning. There's Theta. Nigla of Theta, when we learn halachas of Theta, which all deal with physical matter, all the halachas of Theta deal with things that we can touch and feel, generally. So this is compared to lechem min ha'oretz. Because Nigla of Theta is we learn, and the whole Theta Shabbal Peh was all came, the Chachmei Yisrael are the ones who revealed it. With their Yegiyah, with their toiling in Theta, they were the ones who revealed all the details of the halachas of Theta. We open up the Gemara, the Tanoim and Amiroim, the Risheim and Achareinim, they were the ones who with their Yegiyah, they revealed and brought us these parts of Theta. But Pnimius, the secrets of Theta, are something which had to come from above, because there's such deep concepts, spiritual concepts, that they had to become so lechem min hashamayim alludes to Pnimius ha-Theta. Lechem is Theta, lechem min ha'oretz is nigla of Theta, Theta Shabbal Peh, whereas lechem min hashamayim, mon, alludes to Pnimius ha-Theta. So this possibly can be the connection between Lag BaOmer, which is the day of the Simcha of Rabbi, when Pnimius ha-Theta was revealed to him, and he revealed to his students, to the giving of the Mon, the first day that the Mon came down. It's possibly, I mean, I don't remember seeing it, but on the spot, you put me on the spot, so I had to come up with something. Chaim. Okay, now that we discussed Avos Yisrael, let's go now to the second topic of Lag BaOmer, which is Simcha. What does it mean to be besimcha? Now, obviously, the first thing, simcha is an emotion of the heart. It's not just something. It's not that we sing and dance and clap. That's not simcha, obviously. That's going through emotions. The Rebbe once expressed himself by a Farbrengen. Al pi halacha, milk is a beverage which can make you drunk. So the Rebbe said simcha doesn't mean that you pinch your cheeks until they're red and you drink milk. That's not simcha, obviously. Simcha is an emotion of your heart. So what exactly is this emotion of simcha? You're happy. So generally, when people speak about being happy, we speak about a person who has simcha sachayim. So what do you mean has simcha sachayim? So what do we picture in our mind? Oh, this person, he's very happy with himself. He's a self-accomplished person. A successful person is happy. Because if I'm not successful, how can I be happy? So happiness, generally, we relate with someone who's successful and accomplished. So what does it mean to be happy? It all evolves around my own, what we call in Chassid, my own yeshus, my own ego. I'm happy with myself, so I have a lot of drive and motivation because I'm so successful what I do. So I'm driven to do more and more. But in Chassidus, it's explained that this is not true simcha. This is not what simcha is really about. Simcha, what simcha is, there's a quote in Chassidus as follows: Simcha peretz geder. Simcha breaks down boundaries. And what this means is, it doesn't mean breaking boundaries. It means within your soul. It means there's certain things which are very hidden in you. And when a person's besimcha, so the boundaries, your limitations go off. And Chassidus gives an illustration to this, that there's a person who might be in his life a very stingy person. Very stingy. He can't part with one penny. And then he makes a wedding for his only a ben yochid or a bas yechida, and comes to the wedding, and all of a sudden all his limitations are off. He's able to give tzedakah without limits. His stinginess gets lost. He breaks all the barriers that his limitations of his nature, of his nature, and he's able to overcome it. Or like we see a person who's very besimcha, sometimes that person has secrets that you keep it within yourself. But in a time of great simcha, so you tell things, like we say in Yiddish, mezok daru is the seidus von cheder. The secrets come out when a person is very besimcha. Simcha has the ability, a person to overcome limitations. The pneumius, what's very deep embedded in a person, can be revealed through simcha. Simcha is this ability to bring out what's very deep in you, overcome all barriers and all limitations. That's what simcha is all about. So it's just the opposite. So Chassidus says it's just the opposite. In order to accomplish this, so it's not staying within yourself, it's just the opposite. The ability to extract yourself from your own eye. And that's why when we see a very interesting thing, there are two concepts. There's nachas and there's simcha. Enjoyment and simcha. Nachas, a person can be locked up in a room and experience a feeling of nachas and enjoyment, of nachas. But simcha, if a person is truly besimcha, you can't be isolated in a room and be besimcha. When a person is besimcha, you need your friend with you to be mesameach with you. The nature of simcha is it requires another person. You have to have someone to participate in your simcha. You can't celebrate a true simcha locked up in a room.
There's no human being that doesn't have some problem. How do you define simcha that he can have that level even in the face of those problems?
How to have simcha in the face of problems? This is a subject that the Baal Tanya deals at length over a few chapters in Tanya, chapter 26, 27, 28.
Right now, so.
Well, if the problems are from Gashmis, so the Alter Rebbe explains at great length in Tanya. It's first based when we know that everything comes from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's not from Chassidus, it's from the Gemara says. The Gemara says, Kashem Shemavorach al HaTeva. Just like a person has to bless the Eibishter for all the good things that we get, the same way you have to bench Hashem on things which are the opposite of Teva. And the Gemara says that means we have to accept it with simcha, l'kabula b'simcha. We have to accept it with simcha. The Alter Rebbe says, how can we accept it b'simcha? The Alter Rebbe explains at great length that the Gemara says, Nochem ish gamzu said, gamzu l'teva. That we have to believe that gamzu l'teva, everything that comes from Hashem is for the good. But Alter Rebbe says there are two types of good which emanate from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. There's revealed good, and then there's hidden good. The hidden good, why is it hidden? So the Alter Rebbe says because it comes from a very high madrega. It says about Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Yeshiv b'seisa elgin. The Eibush sits on a level called seisa, totally hidden. The Eibush is the essence of good. But his good is on a level of seisa. It's hidden. So there's hidden teiv, which is a much higher type of teiv than revealed teiv. So the Alter Rebbe says, Ashri hagever asher tiyaserenu yudkei. We know in Hashem's name has 4 letters, yudkei vovkei. Yudkei is also a name of Hashem. And in Kabbalah it's explained that the first 2 letters of Hashem's name are on a much higher level than the Vovkei. In Parshas Hazinu it says, in Parshas Vayelach it says, Hanistoros l'Hashem alikeinu v'haniglos lanu levanenu. So it says in the Zayah, v'haniglos Vovkei nigles. The Vovkei is called nigles. Hanistoris, Yudke is called Nistoris. So this is what the Alter Rebbe says. When a person experiences something which is not open and revealed teiv, so the source of that is coming from the Nistoris. Asher hagever, asher tiyasirenu Yudke. The inflictions and the suffering is coming from the Yudke. So obviously this demands a great level of emunah.
But when it says in the pasuk Nistoros, it says on Nistoros la
Hashem alikeinu.
Vavkei. It says the whole 4 letters.
Correct. This is based on the Zayah, that the Vovkei is Niglis and Yudkei is Nistoris. It's based on the Zayah. So in short, obviously this demands a great level of emunah, that even things which don't seem to be teiv, Gamzula Teva, it's also good. It's not only also good, but it's emanating from a higher. It's a higher Tev. The Eibush is giving a dish of a higher level type of Tev, which cannot come out and reveal Tev. What this the Alter Rebbe says, that's why it says, the Gemara says, Hasmeichem b'Yisurim, those who are able to accept Yisurim with Simcha, the pasuk says they will merit also Levi Kitseis Hashemesh b'Gvurosei. when the Shemesh will be revealed with its whole intensity. Alter Rebbe says this is the same concept, because it says that nowadays the Eibishter put a covering on the sun, that the sun should not radiate in its complete intensity. Because if the Shemesh would radiate with its complete intensity, so the world wouldn't be able to exist. So, on a spiritual level, it says, Ki mogen, ki shemesh mogen Hashem elikim. So, the aid of Hashem, the hidden aid of Hashem, this is the Shemesh itself, but the Tev Goli, the revealed Tev, comes the way it goes through the covering. But the hidden Tev is coming from the hidden Madrega. And L'Osad Love, so this will be Ketseis Hashemesh B'Gvurosei. The Shemesh will be revealed in its complete intensity. So who will be Zeicha to that? Those who are able to accept Yisurim B'Simcha B'Zman Hazeh, which this comes, how are you capable of doing that? Someone who recognizes that these Yisurim are coming from the Tev HaNelam, this hidden Tev. So if you're able to accept it B'Simcha, so L'Osad Love, you will be Zeichet Ketseis Hashemesh B'Gvurosei. That's what it says in Tanya. That's only one part of it. I mean, that's if your problems are physical problems, material problems. If you're worried about ruchnistic problems, the Alter Rebbe deals with in chapter 27 and 28. This is not al regel achas already. Okay, l'chaim. The main point I just wanted to bring out is that, just like we said concerning Avos Yisrael, that true Avos Yisrael all evolves around one concept, about tapping into our neshama. So the same is true about Simcha. True Simcha means that what's hidden in your neshama should come out begilui. That's what Simcha is. Simcha is bringing out your neshama. So then, the guf is what limits that, doesn't allow you to become a neshama person. A person is besimcha when his life is a neshama life, so that brings him to true simcha, to be able to overcome all his limitations and barriers. That's what true simcha is. And coming back to what we started off with, that the key to all this is one thing: learning Pnimius HaTeira. When we learn Pnimius HaTeira, this makes us tap into our neshama. The learning itself, they're serving Hashem with your neshama on high madregas, but Theta, the Eibishter gave us the Theta because the Theta has that segula to it. It has that power to it. That Theta is called, it says Ner Mitzvah v'Theta Eir. Theta's Eir. Theta illuminates a person. It illuminates our neshama. So Theta has that power to take our neshama from its hiddenness and bring it out in the open. And when we learn the neshama of Theta, so that brings out the neshama that's within us into the open. So this is when we celebrate the Farbrengen of Lag B'Omer. So the first conclusion is that everyone has to accept upon themselves to start studying Chassidus more seriously. L'chaim. Da 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 yo yo da 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 ay ay da 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 da
If you're into the ideas tonight,
I'm double dipping
Forgive me for a few seconds. I want to take the impact of what learning Hasidus, how it impacts us a little on a deeper level. And this is based on what it says in the Zohar. In the Zohar HaKodesh it says as follows. There are three things which are attached to each other. Yisroel, Eiraisa, v'Kutshi B'ruchu. Yidden, Theta, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. V'chulhu sosim v'galya. And each one of them, there's sosim, what's hidden, and galya, what's revealed. In other words, in the Yid, there's sosim v'galya, there's the hidden and the revealed, and in Theta is the hidden and the revealed, and Kavyochel and Eibush, there's the hidden and the revealed. And they all connect to each other. In other words, Theta connects Yisrael to Kutshi B'ruchu. So the Galia of Theta connects the Galia of the Yid to Galia the Kutshibrichu. The Sosam of Theta connects the Sosam of the Yid to Sosam the Kutshibrichu. That's, in short, what it says in the Zayah. And to explain this a drop, you want to use simple terms. A person has those things, his conscious faculties, and then there's what we call subconscious. Something that's deeply embedded in your subconsciousness. Those things are things that you don't even know about. Sometimes you need a trauma to know that you have it embedded in you. You need something special to be able to bring out what's in your subconscious. So, in our neshama, besides the fact that our neshama generally is hidden within us, it's concealed, our guf concealed on our neshama, but in our neshama itself, there are faculties which are more revealed, and then there's faculties of our neshama, which we call the sosim of the neshama, which are very hidden and deep energies. They're very deep energies that are embedded in our neshama. And these deep energies that are embedded in the sosim of our neshama are very strong. They have limitless strength to them. The Alter Rebbe in a Maimah explains it as follows. He gives an example from fire, because we know that Kedusha is always, it says, Hashem Elokecha Eishech Lahu. The Shechina is revealed by Tetzei Eish. Kedusha is Hashem revealed himself to Moshe Rabbeinu by the sneh in a fire. So the Alter Rebbe says, take a fire. You can have a flame, a flame, a tremendous flame. This is an Eish Golui, a revealed fire. Then you can have a hidden fire. Take, for example, a coal. A coal, where you can have a coal which is lit. Fire has a keach of eish, but there's no shalheves. There's no flame to it. There's no shalheves, but nevertheless, it's a very strong keach of eish. If you touch it, you burn yourself. Then the Alter Rebbe says there's another keach of eish. The Alter Rebbe says like a flintstone, a stone that if you can extract sparks from it. If you hit it very hard, you extract sparks. So it has a keach of eish. But this keach of eish is a keach nelim. It's a very hidden keach. To the extent that you can take, this stone could be soaking in water for hundreds of years. Nevertheless, the keach of eish is not extinguished. Water can only extinguish a revealed eish. So the Alter Rebbe says the same is true about our neshama. We have our Yetzer Hara and our Yetzer Tov, our Nefesh Habamis, opposite our Neshama. We're trying to extinguish the fire of our Neshama. So the revealed fire of the Neshama, so the Yetzer Hara and the Nefesh Habamis can Chaz v'Sholom overcome it. But the hidden keach of the Neshama, the tzura of the Neshama, is a keach that can never be extinguished. Like it says in Shir Hashim, Mayim Rabim lo yuchel chabis asava. That tzur of the neshama, this is the sosam of the neshama, which is a keach which nothing can weaken or extinguish. It can't even weaken it. This sosam of the neshama expresses itself in Mesidus Nefesh. What is Mesidus Nefesh? Mesidus Nefesh means that it's a strength. It's the strength of a yid to say nothing can stop me from doing what Hashem wants. Nothing in the world is going to stop me. You can take away my life, but it's not going to stop me. That comes from the sosam of the neshama, where nothing can overcome it. So this keach of Mesidus Nefesh comes from the sosim of the neshama. And so the Zohar says, how do we tap into this sosim of the neshama? This comes from sosim deiraisa. When we learn the hidden parts of Theta, that taps into the hidden parts of our neshama. And maybe just to illustrate a little bit, someone who knows a little bit about history in the last generation in communist Russia. So we know that to live a yid, a life of a frume yid in the times of communism was entailed literal Mesidus Nefesh. It was simple putting life in danger. A yid who sent their children to learn in a cheder could overnight the next day find themselves in Siberia, in a labor camp in Siberia. It's interesting to read the stories of Hasidim who lived in communist Russia to describe how they lived as small children. It not only was all the Yidden who had this Mesidus Nefesh. Young children were trained. They learned in a cheder, and one child would stand and look in the window to see if there's a secret policeman coming to the door, and if there was a knock on the door that they didn't recognize, so they would flee, jump out of the windows, and disappear. That when the policeman came into the room, it was an empty room. And this is the way small children were raised, in such an atmosphere of Mesidus Nefesh. So it's interesting, who were able to demonstrate this tremendous Mesidus Nefesh for Yiddishkeit in Russia? It was Yidden who were connected to Hasidus, who learned Hasidus. Even though you would think that learning Hasidus, Chabad, it's an intellectual process. Chabad is Chochmah Bina Das. It's all about Seichel. But nevertheless, the fire of Mesidus, these people had the fire of Mesidus Nefesh. They went to the extreme with Mesidus Nefesh, because, like I said before, this is because Hasidus is not just a Seichel. Hasidus is Sosam Deiraisa. It's the hidden parts of Theta which access the Sosam of your Neshama, which brings out the Mesidus Nefesh. The previous Rebbe once said, what does Mesidus Nefesh means? Azeyum Nishtandrus. This is the way it's going to be, and it can't be different. So, sometimes a person can find themselves in a situation where there are many things pressing on the person and trying to press the person to do something against your conscience, something which you know is not the way you should be, but you seem flooded, overwhelmed by these pressures. So you need something within you that says, Azeyun Nitanjish. It's a red line that cannot be crossed. Nothing can stop it. And where do we get that energy from? This comes from the depth of the neshama. I would venture to say that if we need something in illustrations in today's day and age, we could look at the Rebbe Shluchim who go out to cities where there can be no Yiddishkeit around. There's nothing there for the chinuch of their children, and just to keep Torah mitzvahs is a tremendous challenge. They can be one in the city, like we say, in a desert, and nevertheless, what keeps them? Because they were brought up with this spirit of Sosam Deiraisa, so they were trained in this from young, with this fire of Mesidus Nefesh, with this fire that Hasid of the Neshama, which Hasidus taps and accesses. So that gives a Yid the capability of coming into a desert and standing strong in Yiddishkeit with nothing detracting you. Like I said before, Azeyun Nishtandish. L'chaim. The Rebbe always used to say, "Hamaisa huike." Every Farbrengen, he used to say, the end result has to be something should come out in action. So L'chaim, we should have a connection to Rashbi. Like I said before, there's one connection, which is learning the Theta of Rashbi. L'chaim, l'chaim.